Google's Pixel Watch 5 has just leaked again, and if you were expecting a dramatic redesign, you're probably going to be disappointed. At first glance, it looks almost identical to the Pixel Watch 4. Same circular display, same rotating digital crown, same overall shape. In fact, if someone showed you the two watches side by side for a second or two, you'd probably struggle to tell which one is which. But here's the question I kept asking myself while looking through these leaks. Is keeping the same design actually the problem? Or were Pixel Watch users hoping Google would fix something completely different? Because after looking through owner discussions from the last generation, I think Google has a much bigger challenge than simply changing how the watch looks. Let's start with the leak itself. According to what appear to be official marketing renders, the Pixel Watch 5 keeps Google's familiar design language almost unchanged. The curved dome display returns, the digital crown is still there, the side button remains, and Google is continuing with its proprietary band attachment system. This clearly isn't a redesign. Instead, it looks like Google is following the same philosophy we've seen from companies like Apple: keep the design people already like and improve everything underneath. The most obvious visual changes actually come from the colors. The leaked renders show 4 finishes: dark anthracite with a black band, natural silver with a light blue band, warm gold paired with coral, and a brand new pyrite finish with a green band. Personally, I think the pyrite version stands out the most. It has a darker bronze-like appearance that feels a little different from previous Pixel watches, and it also seems Google is trying to match these colors with the upcoming Pixel 11 phones to create a more unified ecosystem. There is one small catch though. According to the leaks, the larger 45mm version might not be available in the warm gold finish. If that turns out to be true, anyone wanting the larger watch in gold may simply be out of luck. It's a small detail, but it's something buyers usually care about once they're ready to place an order. Now let's talk about the rumored price, because this could end up being the biggest talking point. Reports suggest Google may increase prices across the entire Pixel Watch lineup by around $50. If that's accurate, the smaller Wi-Fi model would start at about $400 instead of $350, with the larger model and LTE versions seeing similar increases. That's a significant jump, especially considering the design barely changes. And if Google is asking customers to pay more, people are naturally going to expect meaningful improvements where they actually matter. Which brings us to something I found really interesting while reading through discussions from Pixel Watch 4 owners. Surprisingly, the design wasn't one of the biggest complaints. In fact, most people still love how the Pixel Watch looks. Many owners actually describe it as one of the best-looking Android smartwatches available. The frustrations were much more practical. One issue that kept appearing was battery behavior. Now, to be fair, the Pixel Watch 4 was a huge improvement over earlier generations, and many users reported excellent battery life, often getting well over a day or even close to 2 days depending on the model and usage. But at the same time, there were also recurring reports of battery drain bugs after software updates, with some owners experiencing dramatically shorter battery life until resetting or replacing the watch. Charging also came up more often than I expected. Some users reported adaptive charging not behaving correctly, while others experienced occasional charging issues or inconsistent charging behavior. These weren't universal problems, many owners never experienced them, but they show the kind of refinements people are hoping Google focuses on, rather than simply changing the outside of the watch. Another rumor getting attention is the processor. Reports suggest Google could finally move away from Qualcomm and introduce a custom Tensor chip inside the Pixel Watch 5. Now, if that happens, I don't think anyone should expect a massive jump in raw performance. Instead, the real benefit would likely be better integration between hardware and software, improved power efficiency, and hopefully more consistent battery life. That's exactly the same strategy Google has followed with its Pixel phones, where Tensor isn't necessarily about benchmark scores, but about creating a more optimized overall experience. The leaked watch face also hints at another major focus this year: Gemini. We can already see a dedicated Gemini shortcut built directly into the watch face, suggesting Google wants AI to become a much bigger part of the smartwatch experience. Whether that turns out to be genuinely useful or just another shortcut remains to be seen, but it's clear Gemini is becoming central to Google's entire product ecosystem. The reality is, today's leak still leaves plenty of unanswered questions. We still don't know the battery capacity. We don't know if charging speeds have improved. We don't know whether Google has added new health sensors or significantly increased display brightness. Those are arguably the upgrades many existing Pixel Watch owners care about most. Overall, though, I actually don't mind Google keeping the same design. If users already like how the watch looks, there's no reason to redesign it every year just for the sake of change. The real question is whether Google has listened to the practical issues owners experienced with the last generation. If the Pixel Watch 5 brings better battery consistency, more reliable software, and meaningful improvements under the hood, then I think most people will happily accept a familiar design. But if the only major changes end up being new colors and a higher price, convincing existing Pixel Watch owners to upgrade could be much more difficult. The official announcement is expected during Google's Made by Google event on August 12th, alongside the Pixel 11 series, so we won't have to wait much longer. But now I'm curious about your opinion. If you own a Pixel Watch, what's the one thing you wanted Google to fix before adding new colors or increasing the price? Let me know in the comments, because I think that's the conversation that really matters.